Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Jordan, and I will be your host today. Before we dive in, I want to take a quick moment to introduce Microsoft Reactor. Microsoft Reactor is a global community space for developers, startups, and students to learn, connect, and build. We host free events, workshops, and meetups designed to help you grow your skills, explore new technologies, and connect with industry experts. If you'd like to stay connected and hear about future sessions, scan the QR code to subscribe to our Reactor newsletter. You'll get updates on new series, training opportunities, and community highlights, all straight to your inbox. Before we wrap up, I want to introduce you to Microsoft Learn, an amazing resource to keep growing your skills after today's session. After the session, you can visit Microsoft Learn to continue exploring at your own pace. You'll find step-by-step learning paths, hands-on modules, and even certifications that can help you advance your career or deepen your technical expertise. It's the perfect next step to keep building on what you've learned here today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time to learn and connect with us. And now, I'm pleased to hand it over to our speakers. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to be here with you today for the kickoff of not only the Student Dataviz Championships, but also the kickoff of Fabric Data Days. So thanks so much for joining us. We're going to start with some introductions. My name is Shannon Lindsay, and I am on the Fabric community team here at Microsoft. I'm so happy to see you all. I'm here today with my friends Santana Lakshmi and Andrew. They are not only Power BI and Fabric experts, but they are also experts in working with students and higher education. Lakshmi and Andrew, do you want to introduce yourselves quickly, and then we'll go over to our moderators?
Hi, I'm Andrew Summer. I'm the Chief Data Officer of Missouri Science and Technology. I'm also a Fabric community super user and a user group leader.
Hey all, my name is Lakshmi. I'm a Microsoft MVP, and I was one of the Power BI Dataviz World Championship finalists, and I love Power BI.
Thank you so much, and I love both of your energy. Now let's jump over and meet our moderators. As you all know, this is a live session. We want to interact with you in the chat, and we want to make sure that your questions get answered. So please reach out to Gaston, Drizzle, and Philippa in the chat. We also have our colleague Pam on there. So any questions you have, let's make sure we get them answered. And now let's jump into the event. So we are all here for Fabric Data Days. We're so excited that you're here. We want to introduce a couple of key events that are happening during this next 50 days. We have a bunch of contests and challenges just for you. You all are in the right place if you're here for the Student Dataviz Challenge Kickoff. Lakshmi and Andrew are going to talk through everything that's required to join the contest. And we also want to let you know that we've got other contests running as well. So we'll drop the link in the chat for that. We also wanted to let you know about what's happening this week. We have, of course, today's event. We also have events that are really tailored to all of you. If you're looking at how are you going to get into a career in data? Maybe you're interested in being a data analyst, or you're interested in being a data engineer, but you're not sure what the difference is between the two. We have sessions just for you, and we really recommend that you check out this full schedule to be informed on what you can attend so that you can learn and grow and get into a career in data. And then last but not least, a lot of the reason that you all are here is for, drumroll please, discounted and free certification vouchers. We have a link here on the screen. We will also drop it into the chat for you to get 100% discount on our Fabric certifications. We're also offering 50% discounts on our Power BI and Data Fundamentals certifications. And with that, that is everything I have for you as an introduction. I'm going to hand it over to our experts for the real show today to introduce the Student Dataviz Championships. Thanks so much, you guys.
All right, thank you, Shannon. Welcome everyone to the kickoff of the first ever Student Dataviz Championship. Lakshmi and I are both so thrilled to have you all joining us here for this kickoff. This is your chance to unleash your creativity, sharpen those data storing skills, showcase your skill set to the community. We want you to think of this as more than a contest. It's a learning experience and a network opportunity and a way to celebrate data visualization. And for most of you, I'm going to assume that this is your intro into the Fabric community. I can tell you from firsthand experience that this community can be a game changer for your career. I know it has been for mine. I know it has been from Lakshmi. So please get involved and stay involved. Before we move on and dive in, go ahead and say hi in the chat if you haven't already. And then for our first little polling question, can you just let us know if you've ever used Power BI before? All right, what are we going to cover today? We'll start walking through a contest overview. We'll start with the big picture, what the championships are, who can participate, how the competition works from kickoff to submission to judging. We'll outline all the key dates that you need to keep track of, what your judges are going to be looking for so that you can plan your process with confidence. Next, Lakshmi is going to walk you through the starter file, quickly tour the data model, some of the tables, make sure you're comfortable with what's inside. She'll show you exactly where you can download it, what's included in the package, and where to submit. A step-by-step process so there's no guesswork on your end. Next, Lakshmi is going to walk you through some data visualization with Power BI. She'll be covering basic building techniques. Whether you're brand new or an experienced analyst, she'll be able to help you turn your simple question into a clear visual, highlight a few key formatting moves that instantly level up your design, and of course, point out those key accessibility must-haves so that you can both score well on the judging, but then also provide great visualizations to all of your users. Then last, I'll give you some top tips for success, some practical do's and don'ts from past contests, help you tell your tight story, have a clean layout, use color and contrast effectively for an aesthetically pleasing design. We'll again touch on some accessibility with alternate text and sensible tab orders, the small details that really help your work stand out from everyone else. As we move forward, please drop your questions in the chat. Moderators are there and ready to help. At the end, we'll share some links again to some of the contest pages and the certification info. All right, if everyone's ready, we'll go ahead and kick off. So this contest isn't just about learning, it's about recognition and rewards. Winners will get to choose the swag they love, claim those bragging rights, and see their work featured in the Fabric community. For those of you that are getting ready to graduate or early career, this is a great opportunity to get out there and start building a profile or portfolio of work for that interview process. The top 3 entries will also be selected to take the spotlight in our finale live stream and present their reports to a global audience. And to top it all off, one winner will enjoy a one-on-one consultation with a Microsoft MVP, getting that expert guidance to elevate their skills and make their portfolio really pop. All right, well, how do we participate? The first step is join that Fabric community. Again, it's a wonderful community that gives more than it takes. I please encourage everyone to get involved and stay involved. And once you do, you need to get out there and download that starter file. When you're doing so, make sure you read those contest rules really carefully and review that judging criteria so that you're set up for success when you submit. Then get in there and start building either as an individual or as a team. And then again, use that community to get feedback. Ask for advice, tips, and help. It's a wonderful source of feedback and help. And then when you're all ready and you think your visuals are unique and really tell the story you want to tell, go ahead and submit it. Lakshmi is going to walk you through all this in detail later. So stay tuned. So some key dates. Of course, right now we're in that kickoff, November 4th. Submission window is until November 25th for our American participants. That's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So you have about 3 weeks to prepare your plan, build your reports, and get them submitted. On December 4th, those finalists will be announced. And then on December 10th, those 3 finalists will be in that live global competition. So please mark your calendars for that and join us. All right, so what are judges looking for? First, insightfulness. Does your report clearly communicate meaningful insights? Is it easy to understand? And is it relevant to the contest theme? Next, visual effectiveness. Think clean design, appropriate chart choices, smart use of text and color. Avoid clutter, keep things simple so that your visuals tell a story. Creativity and innovation. This is where originality really shines. Going beyond the default visuals, experimenting with layouts, and using Power BI features like bookmarks and checking for that interactivity. And then last, accessibility. This is 25% of the judging criteria. Things like color contrast, alternate text, and logical tab order really matter. Make sure that your report are usable for everyone so that you ensure you gain all of those points for that top score. You don't need to memorize a scoring sheet. Just keep these basic principles in mind and just think, how can you tell a unique and clear story so that any user can gain insights from your report? Next, we're going to hand it off to Lakshmi. She's going to walk us through the starter file.
Perfect. Thank you for kicking off the contest, Andrew. I've always been a participant, and it feels really good to be on the other side. Let's quickly take a look at the starter file and see what's waiting for all our data visits. You will find the link to the starter files in the chat. The team will be dropping the links below. I will quickly open the starter file. Perfect. So once you open the starter file, you see a screen like this. Welcome to the magical land of Fabric Land. Young wizards and heroes are preparing to choose the future colleges. But the students are facing a problem. There's a long, confusing list of colleges with a lot of scattered information. Now, the High Council of Education has turned to the data wizards, that's you, to bring order to the chaos. Now, your mission is to craft an insightful, visually captivating Power BI report that is going to help the next generation of Fabric Land students make wise choices about where they go to study and launch their magical careers. So now that we have the story set, let's dive into the starter file that we have. So the first page is going to have the story and what your mission is. Before we dive into the data dictionary, let's take a quick look into the data model. A very simple data model with 2 tables. The first table is the college profile table. It gives you a comprehensive overview of all the higher education institutions present in Fabric Land, along with a lot of metrics like college information, alumni metrics, facilities information as well. Next, we have the other table, which is named Programs Majors. This table provides detailed information about all the academic programs offered at each college in Fabric Land. Let's take a closer look into the data inside each of this table. Perfect. So first, I'm going to show you the college profile table. So here you see a list of 10 colleges in Fabric Land, along with more information about what their tuition fee is, what is the main magic focus area, some metrics like the facilities rating, housing quality, student support rating. Next, let's take a look at the program majors. This particular table has more information about the program from each college. Let's quickly filter and see college number 1. Now I have college number 1. This college has 4 programs in it with more information about what the major category is, what are the duration, what is the enrollment rate. Let's switch to another college, say college number 5. Now this college offers 5 programs with different major categories like leadership, you have alchemy as well. So this is pretty much about the data set. You see how the data set is very simple and gives you a good scope for data storytelling. Now, for those who are confused about what columns means what, we have included a data dictionary for you. So each table, along with the column names and the description, can be found right here. Quick note right here is that the storyline, the data set provided is all fictional. So feel free to unleash your creativity and really bring in your storytelling skills. Moving on to the next page, we have a sample analysis. So this is something I whipped up to be a starting point for all the beginners out there. So here you see there are 3 visuals. Quick note, all these visuals are created using the native Power BI visuals, all inbuilt features, nothing fancy, nothing complicated. So the first visual that you see right here is a simple bar chart which shows you college by the average magic score. So it's sorted in the order of average magic score. You see how by adding a title, adding subtitles, playing around with the colors, adding data labels made this particular visual pop. Next, let's look into the next visual. This is a very simple line chart which shows you the student enrollment trend across programs. If you notice, I snuck in a slicer inside this visual. The slicer has the details about all the programs, which makes sure that whenever I change the program, that you see how the trend of the student enrollment changes. So a quick way of how you can combine 2 visuals to make the visual. Next, I have a simple table telling me more detailed information about each program offered by each college. So this is a table which I created using Power BI native visuals, nothing fancy. I have information like what the major category is, how difficult the program is, what is the popularity score, what is the faculty rating, and so on. So these are 3 visuals that I put up together, and I'm really excited to see what stories all of you bring. And a quick thank you to all the challenge organizers and all the best from our side. Let's now quickly switch back to our presentation. Perfect. Now that you've seen the Power BI starter file, and before you start jumping into Power BI, let's take a step back and plan an approach. First, we're going to start working with the starter file. Open the starter file, study the data, explore what's in there. Always remember that understanding the data set is key to telling a story. Next, we're going to sketch out the ideas. We're going to jot down the questions that you want to answer. What are the insights you want to highlight? Then we're going to plan our layout. Think about how visuals will flow on the page, how users are going to interact with them. Then choosing the right visuals for the job. We'll talk about this particular section later when we dive into the visual vocabulary and all the Power BI best practices. Next, always remember to keep it simple. Avoid clutter. Make sure every element that is present on your report serves a purpose. And also remember to test interactivity and validate your data before you finalize your report. Now, some of these points like choosing visuals, choosing your layout tips, we will talk about it later during this session where we'll go deeper and show examples. So for now, think of this as your checklist to start strong. Once you are happy with your report, you need to submit it. You are going to submit it in the Fabric community. You will find a button which says Submit to Contest. That's where you are going to submit your entries. Next, how to submit. When submitting, be sure to fill the form completely. You will need to add a title, a thumbnail image, a category, and also upload your PBIX file. Now that you all know about the contest itself, let's get to the fun part of the presentation where we'll walk through some Dataviz tips in Power BI and discuss how you can best convey your message using this tool. Before we dive into the presentation, let me know in the chat below, using your favorite emoji, how many of you are excited for this contest and how many of you are going to participate. Perfect. Okay, let's get started with Dataviz in Power BI. The overall goal of this section is to help you understand how to make effective intentional visuals in Power BI, not just with Power BI. So a quick question to all of you. When you open Power BI as a beginner or as an advanced user, which visual do you reach out for first? Let me know in the chat. While you are on it, I just want to give you a quick reminder that Dataviz isn't about just picking charts. It's about choosing the charts that communicate the insights clearly and effectively. We will take a look at how Power BI helps us do that. Perfect. So step one is to understand your purpose and audience. So the report that you see on the screen right here is an example. This report is tailored to the general audience. So basically for the people who are trying to understand what life in Europe looks like. Now, if this report had to be tailored for the European cultural experts, this would look very different. Before you design your report or before you design your visuals, define why the visual or report exists. Tailor your visuals, tailor your reports according to your audience needs and decisions. Quick example, if you are an executive, you would expect to see summaries. If you are an analyst, you would need more details. Trust me, once you know who you're building the report for and what question you're trying to answer, the report will come into place. Choosing the right visual is one of the most important decisions in data storytelling. The pie chart that we create may look colorful and fancy, but the moment it has more than 3 slices, it's just serving confusion. This slide that you see is based on the Financial Times visual vocabulary recreated in Power BI. It's a fantastic way to think about visuals by purpose, not just by chart type. So here you'll see categories like deviation, correlation, ranking, distribution, and much more. Now, each category helps you answer a different question. Examples, when you talk about deviation, how does something differ from a baseline? Talking about correlation, how do two variables relate to each other? Talking about ranking, who's first, second, or third? So the idea here is simple. Start with the question you're trying to answer, then pick a visual that communicates that the best. This framework right here helps you to avoid defaulting to the same chart every time and instead choose what truly fits your story. Here are some examples brought to life in Power BI. We are not just going to go through each single category, but we will provide the link to this chart chooser in the chat. This chart chooser was created by our community leader, Jason Thomas, so kudos to him. Looking at the screen, for displaying deviation, here are a couple of suggestions. You might use a diverging bar chart or maybe even a filled line chart to show changes from a starting point. For looking at change over time, a line chart or a column chart might be your best options. For ranking, a sorted bar chart makes it easier to compare across categories. So did you notice how each visual aligns with the question it's answering? This approach makes to keep your report clear, purposeful, and impactful. So when you're building for this contest, think about this. What's the question and which visual tells the story the best? The key to choosing the right visual is understanding your question and your audience. Coming to my favorite part is refining your visual, removing clutter and adding focus. You see how this is the default Power BI visual, which when adding a little bit of formatting magic like adding subtitles, titles, data labels, borders, backgrounds, playing around with the font style, size, color, and also choosing visual specific formatting can make a big difference. A quick example right here, the bar chart. You see how there is a gap between the bars. This is a very visual specific formatting that we've used right here. So keep in mind that formatting is where the good visuals become great. Using visuals as is in Power BI is a good first step, but they require your expert eye to really become great. Next, let's talk about focusing the viewer's attention. Now, this is a great example of a bar chart in Power BI, very minimally formatted. But what is the author trying to show here? Keep in mind that as report designers, we should guide the reader's eye. Where should people be looking, or what data point is most important? These can be done by using a couple of tricks like choosing colors wisely, using text intentionally. This is a quick example of that. What's the first thing you notice here? Do you see how a little bit of formatting goes a long way? Choosing color, choosing text, or choosing chart elements like the average line you see makes a huge difference. Now, this visual is much more meaningful. Coming to the most important section, design for accessibility. Data visualization is largely inaccessible for the blind or low vision individuals who use screen readers. This excludes millions of people from the opportunity to interpret insights that are often presented in charts. Quick examples: health statistics or economic indicators. Now, creating accessible Power BI reports is not just a nice to have feature, but a very crucial aspect for ensuring all users can access and understand your data. Now, we are going to talk about three important accessibility features provided by Power BI. The first one is tab order. Tab order enables users that rely on keyboard navigation by providing a natural reading order. In order to set the tab order, you can go to the selection pane in Power BI, head over to the tab order, and place your visuals according to the natural reading order. Next, we are going to talk about alternative text. Alternative text is crucial for anyone who's using a screen reader. You can either set it to be a static text or a dynamic text. This particular field helps define or describe the particular visual you are on. Next, we're going to talk about color contrast. Color contrast enables people with different types of vision to see the font on the background. It's really important to have a good text to background color contrast ratio. Always keep in mind to use a colorblind safe palette and also avoid using only color specific cues. Quick information right here is if you want to maintain color consistency throughout your report, choose report themes and JSON files accordingly. Keep in mind all the accessibility points that are mentioned here are a must for participating in this contest. A couple of resources for you. There are a lot of tools in the community that can help you design accessibility. Here are two of our favorites. And keep in mind that this is 25% of your score. Now that I've spoken so much about my favorite tool, Power BI, let me hand it over back to Andrew, who's here to share some top tips for success for the contest. Over to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Lakshmi. So, like Lakshmi said, we're going to walk through some top tips for a winning entry. Before I walk through them, I want to invite anyone in the chat to add your tips for success on building good visuals and good reports. And also, I want to highlight that in my role, I get to work with a lot of students and early career professionals. Most of my analysts are just straight out of school. And there's a lot of overlap here between the tips we're going to give you for being successful in this contest and the tips and tricks that we teach our students and our young analysts on how to be successful in their career. The first one is telling a clear story, right? Ultimately, this is about helping someone make a decision. Whether in this contest and you're helping a student make a decision about what's the best school or the best program for them to go to and be successful, in your career, it's going to be about helping that leader or stakeholder make a decision for their business or organization. Right? To do that, we need to keep things simple. You don't want to bury your key points. You want to make sure that your conclusions are obvious so that when your stakeholder or user is getting out there trying to make a decision with the report you made, they don't miss it in all of the noise. To do that, we need to use the right visuals, right? We don't want to use something just because it's aesthetically appealing, something I see a lot of young analysts do, right? We build a pretty report. Simple visuals that convey a message are always better than complex and pretty visuals that don't. So first, focus on the story and then find a way to make that visually appealing. Next, we want to make it accessible, right? As Lakshmi mentioned, it's 25% of the score in this contest, but it's also going to be a huge component of your career moving forward. You're going to work for decades and work with thousands or tens of thousands of different people. Some of you are going to work in large organizations like we do, where your user base is going to measure in the many thousands. And so you're going to have all kinds of different people using your reports. And they all need to be able to successfully make decisions with the tools you build. So you want to make sure that you don't leave anyone out and you enable all your users and all your stakeholders to be successful with the tools that you make. Next, let's leverage all those Power BI features out there. Field parameters, drill throughs, custom tool tips, bookmarks, and make sure you're checking that interactivity, right? It's important to highlight or filter that data. Next, validate your data, right? It doesn't matter how pretty of a report you make. If the data isn't right and it doesn't help someone make that decision or become more informed, it doesn't matter, right? So again, we always start with telling that clear story with clean and accurate data so that our stakeholders can make informed decisions. Then last, polish that design. Use consistent fonts, spacing, make sure your alignment is there, right? When you get out into your careers, right, this is using corporate branding. A big thing we have to go through before we publish anything is making sure it's using our corporate color scheme, proper logos, right? So that's a positive representation of our business or organization. Right, so these are all things that are going to help you be successful, not only in this challenge, but throughout your career. So this is a great place to start and develop those skills. And then again, I want to plug the community. Get out there, get involved, ask questions on the Fabric community, ask for help and feedback. There's plenty of people out there that are eager to help college students and early career professionals be successful, not just in this contest, but as you move forward with your career in data analytics and engineering. So what's next in Fabric Data Days? So of course we have this contest, which ends November 25th, along with the other two contests. Even if you don't choose to enter into this contest, please stay involved and check out the entries. They're a great place for inspiration. Every time one of these challenges comes around, I go out and look at all of the entries, and I find a ton of inspiration on how to be a better visual builder. Particularly some of you might be like me that maybe you're more prone to the back end of data, the data engineering or side of things, but you're always going to have that visual part of your school tool set. So make sure that you get out there and learn from people in the community, people like Lakshmi and the other MVPs that produce beautiful visual reports, and then connect with them in the community or maybe on LinkedIn and start building that network out of professionals in your area. If this challenge or some of the other ones seem like a little bit too much for you to take on, I encourage you to check out the Quick Viz challenges, right? They're a little bit smaller, bite-sized challenges that'll focus on a single visual. They won't be as time-consuming or as daunting if you're a beginner, but a great place to learn and then start getting involved in the community. Of course, you can check those all out on the link below. All right, so our upcoming schedule. Of course, we're in the kickoff here. Later this week on Thursday, we have the Dataviz design with our PBI Dataviz contest winners, including Lakshmi. So please check that out and get all of their expert advice. Then we have a series of 3 different info sessions based on different roles in the analytics community. First on November 11th. So you want to be an analytics engineer. So those people like me that prefer the back end, please check that out. November 12th, so you want to be a data analyst. So if you really like that visual end and you're a great designer like Lakshmi, go ahead and check that one out. And then last one, data engineering on November 13th. Then again, on December 10th, we're going to have that global final challenge for the 3 finalists of this championship. And then on December 11th, careers and data for students. Where could you go? I got to just plug, it's a wonderful career. It's a wonderful community. I encourage all of you to get involved, stay involved, network with the community. Please send Lakshmi and I both invites. We're always here and happy to help any young aspiring data analyst or data engineer. And check out the links below. Oh, last thing, very important, Dataviz World Championship. Next round's for January 12th. So if you want to compete with the great Dataviz people out there like Lakshmi and get on the world stage and compete for the overall championship, please get out there, make a submission. And again, even if you don't make a submission, go out there and check them out, become a part of the community, see what all the wonderful analysts and developers out there are creating, and get some inspiration for your next project. And yeah, get involved.
Perfect. And here are a couple of resources, and you will find more links in the chat. Any questions, feel free to put it on the chat about the contest or about anything in Fabric Data Days. We're happy